Welcome to Humbly the Best Celtics podcast. I'm your host, Brandon, here with Mike and Joel, three diehard fans and friends breaking down each game throughout the season for you. The journey to Banner 18.
I'm humbly one of the best basketball players in the world, you know?
All right, let's go. Let's go! Celtics win a close one to extend the series 3-1. A little too close for comfort. No Donovan Mitchell, no Jaren Allen, but the Celtics find a way to make it happen. For me, I enjoyed it. First clutch time minutes, and I think Joel said it, 38 days. I think it's good for the team. I think we needed to have a close game. Obviously, the two we lost were blowouts, but then all the ones we've won and the end of our season were just absolute blowouts on teams. So to have some clutch time, really getting the offense, figuring things out, just having some pressure and having that little bit more of a pressure on the team can really fine-prove us. And I thought that was huge, but just a massive win. Obviously now taking the series 3-1, heading back home to Boston. Got to close out Wednesday, but just an absolute huge game from the Celtics and huge game from Drew Holiday. Drew Holiday caps his best playoff Celtics game last game with a even better game this game. And man, the team is just so much different when Drew is involved in the offense. And I just love that. And then Tatum just answering the critics. Kendrick Perkins, shut your mouth. Jason Tatum is a top 5 player in the NBA and has 2 massive games. Love Tatum going downhill, but a huge win, 3-1. Don't want to look ahead too far yet, but I'm looking at these conference finals.
One win away from 6 appearances in 8 years. I mean, that's a lot of winning for a team that always chokes. So, um, you love to see the two good Jay games back to back. Jalen and Jason both playing great games back to back. Last game was probably, I mean, it's hard after game one saying that that's Jalen's best playoff game of the year, but the efficiency he played with the other night was
Yeah.
great. Tonight, some boneheaded turnovers, but really a clutch three to really seal the game up, and then kind of answer after he missed those first 2 free throws. He hit 7 in a row, so you love to see that. Like, hopefully that's fixing itself in front of our eyes. We got Jason looking better, attacking, hitting some shots. I wish he would
Great
stop it.
passes still,
Yeah,
man. Like
still
the
the
pass.
right
I mean,
reads.
think of the offensive trust there in that play to Jaylen Brown for the 3 to really seal the game. Tatum's driving. I had a decent look at a layup there for a finish, especially the way he's been finished at the rim, but dishes it out to Jaylen Brown wide open.
That's one of the things I think that really does separate him into that top five. Like, we're talking about the upper epsilon. Like, there's Jokic, and one of those guys in the top five is sacrificing a shot in the clutch like that. Like, Luka's taking that shot. Giannis is trying to drive. Like, name whoever else you want. Like, but Jason just always making the right play, making the right read is just one of those things that's like you wish you would have seen it 2 years ago, but as he gets older and matures, like, it just happens more and more frequently. So you love seeing that.
Yeah, I would say also Peyton Pritchard had a phenomenal game off the bench for us. I think that three was really crucial going into the fourth quarter. Like that just it kind of got the team rolling, and we needed every point. I feel like tonight. So
Yeah,
I
let's
think
talk
that
about
was a
first. Go
big
back
win.
last game, that logo 3.
Yeah,
I
that
mean,
was
that 3 probably won us the game. Just the confidence in Peyton Pritchard. And I love the confidence the team has also in Pritchard. In that play at the end of the third there where he hits that 3, I think it was over Dean Wade. I mean, a big dude. But he goes to pass the ball. He kind of looks over at Tatum, and Tatum says, nah, like, you got it. And we cleared out for Peyton Pritchard to close out a huge quarter. Like, you had a score there. And I love
yeah.
the motto of Peyton Pritchard, the always looking over the bench saying, that's what I do. I know we started that like a year or two ago, but just this playoffs, man, the offensive rebounds, things like that. I mean, we need that off the bench, especially right now, with pulling Al off the bench and things like that, which we'll get into Al in a second. But, having to take Al off the bench with KP out, you need big minutes from Pritchard. Hauser, he's had has last game better offensive game for him, but he's holding his own on defense. He's not coming in and becoming a defensive liability. Then who would have thought Cornette just absolutely eaten tonight. And man, I have zero complaints with Cornette the last couple games, man. This playoff run, he's been a huge
Yeah.
piece of this run. He has played absolutely awesome off the bench. Everything we asked for. I mean, tonight I was begging for him to stay in the clutch over Horford. I mean, the rim threat that he is on the offense, between getting rebounds, putbacks, alley-oop threat. Mobley wasn't able to leave him to go, help on Tatum's drives, Brown's drives, things like that. You got to watch Cornette. So he's been a huge,
Do-
huge addition to the bench.
Doesn't watching Cornette like in the dunker spot make you miss Rob Williams just a little bit? Like that
A little
vertical
bit, but I
threat.
didn't see. I see Cornette in the playoffs more than I saw Rom.
It's true.
I just mean like from a
Yeah,
game standpoint, like having that threat in the dunker spot, like it just adds such another level of pressure to the rim and like another spacing element that they just really don't have when they don't. I mean, KP's not really much of a lob threat, but when Al's out there, it's just
yeah.
oh,
KP's just a different style player.
yeah, yeah.
But
I
you know,
thought the bench was the difference in the game for me. Compared to if you compare their bench to our bench, like we outscored them. They were, let's see here, 7. I mean, they only hit 4 shots out of probably 16 shots. They were 416 when
Live
we shot
math on the show.
8 of 12. We shot 8 of 12. So
don't hit team stats.
yeah,
Just keep adding it up.
that's true.
Yeah,
So I
I
just
thought
overall
difference
thought
game.
that
I
was
mean,
a
listen,
Yeah,
difference in the game.
22-17, yeah. And they played 4 guys on their bench, but
I
their
think
bench was
I think
starting.
a lot of people are going to say, man, the Celtics should have had this game in the bag. No Donovan Mitchell, no Jared Allen. At the end of the day, like I said earlier, I think it was big for the Celtics to have, again, all playoff road games are tough games, number one. But I think it was Draymond said in the pregame show, the Celtics prepare like all day. I heard Donovan Mitchell wasn't at practice. Garland made a comment about saying they'll be ready tonight, even if he can't go. And in my mind, I'm like, there's no way Donovan Mitchell doesn't play tonight. And I'm sure the Celtics mind was the same thing as well. I mean, he played through that fourth quarter with that quad injury. Obviously, probably got worse when he stopped moving. But all day long, the Celtics were preparing for Donovan Mitchell to be there. Your film that you've watched for days on end has been Donovan Mitchell heavy. That's been their whole team. But man, they look better of a team without Donovan Mitchell, and Donovan Mitchell is a top tier player. But just the ball movement they had, getting shooters going, things like that. Yeah, we had a lot of turnovers, but dude, they were flame throwing in the first half. They died out in the second. Spruce was just whining all night, hunting fouls after, anyways. But you know, it was good for the Celtics. We needed that kind of game. We needed the clutch. But I think it was just a different Cavaliers team tonight than you prepared for in the series with having a Donovan Mitchell. You really just worried about doubling Donovan the entire time, and now tonight you talked actual ball movement. They were playing extremely fast, running up the court and just dishing to that three. So it's completely different than you prepared for. And again, no road playoff game is easy. And the Celtics are 4-0 on the road in the playoffs. Now, if only we could protect some home court a little bit better now.
Yeah, I disagree a little bit. Like I feel like we probably should have won this game by a larger margin, but especially with the way they shot the ball in the second half. I mean, they started off at like 60% from three at one point in the
The
but
Cavs,
yeah, and
they
then
were like
they
80%. Yeah,
yeah, and then they finished the
literally.
game at 31.8. I the thing you love to see though is you're in a close game in the last 5 minutes, regardless. So you found, regardless of what happened in the first 43 minutes, you find yourself in the clutch and then you execute. You
Yeah.
execute and you win, you do what you need to do. And there's a couple plays even in the clutch that like could have gone a different way. The Jalen turnovers 2 in a row, where he's throwing his legs out there, but like just coming up with timely stops, rebounding the ball when you needed to, and then making free throws, which was such like a thorn in our side coming out of that Heat series in the first couple games this series. So that was really huge. I mean, we ended up shooting 87.5% from the line. So I mean, that's just a huge improvement from where we were. It felt like just a week or so ago.
Yeah.
Jalen Brown 7 and 9 from the free throw. I'll take that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know,
started out
probably
0
the
and
best,
2.
he's probably the
Yeah.
best from the free throw. We needed every one of those, so that was.
Gets
I mean,
his
it's like
average up to 59%, I think.
Yeah, now he's
exactly.
bordering like a starting big free
Yeah.
throw percentage from the line.
Yeah. And
I just think we
the
need
crazy
more out
thing
of
for the
Horford.
Celtics is you're talking no port now. You can always say like, yeah, is everyone going to be, playing their best basketball at the same time? I hope so come the finals. Obviously, Al is just cooked right now. I mean, yeah, I'm frustrated. Like it's like, man, give me something. But at the same time, what we've asked Al Horford to do, um, and what he's doing for the team right now was huge. And let's not forget he had a huge block on Garland at the end of the game, which was massive. Um, but he's playing massive minutes right now because KP's out. And for me, it's invaluable to let KP off, right? He looked great in pregame today. And I think he's so close to just being ready, but there's no rush right now. We're resting him for the next round, and that's
Yeah.
awesome. I think that's invaluable. And then getting Horford some nights off and getting him lower minutes, I think he'll be back and bouncing back. Derek White, I trust the man. Had a big three tonight, but man, just to get him back scoring at what he can do, is going to be huge for this team as well. Just especially spacing wise, his
One for
defense is
six
still
tonight
there, but
overall.
he was what?
16%. 1 for 6,
Mhm.
16%
Had a
from the
couple
field.
free throws, but yeah, I mean, just rough looks, man. There was nothing worse than the Al just repeatedly wide open and then
I well
Yeah,
that was
knocked
that
down.
was that was White. White was 1 for 6. Al ended up being 3 for 9.
Yeah, it was even
So
worse. Yeah.
yeah. the I think that's one of the frustrations, like to nitpick after a win. I mean, great that he went down from 39 minutes to 28 minutes and you were able to steal a few more Cornet minutes for him, but like just something else. I mean, what give Tillman some run. I think you
Yeah,
traded
why
for him.
no
So you
Tillman? Why
yeah,
no Brissett? I
yeah,
agree.
you trade for Tillman to be able to maintain being switchable, and then like you just end up playing drop coverage
Yeah.
the whole
He's not
series
giving you
now.
offense. Like Al's offense might be a little bit better, but he's not not
What's
right
the
now.
what's the fall off? 3 for 9. One Al Horford the last 2 games is 0 for 10 from three. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, is how much worse is Tillman going to be? And I know what he brings from on the defensive end. So
Yeah, I
yeah.
agree. I mean, even a Brissett, just
And I think
energy.
Tillman's can be better on the. I think Tillman's a guy you can throw the ball down to, and he's a better low post scorer, I think, than Al at this point in his career. I mean,
Yeah.
Tillman's a load down there.
I mean,
So
he
Yeah.
might
And
give
I
you a
and
different
the
look,
thing
but
is,
you're
we're
not
only
running
looking for
plays.
switchable.
Yeah,
We're not
that's it.
asking Tillman to come in and play defense on Cornette. Tatum is playing awesome defense. Or sorry, we're not asking Tillman to come in and play defense on Mobley. Tatum's taking care of that task. He's been great on him the last couple games. I thought that was a great move by Missoula, who's made some great adjustments in this. We always are quick to harp at him, especially you, Mike, but he has called some awesome timeouts in the last couple games, some huge shifting with timeouts, really this postseason.
yeah, I again, I'm always
Say
his
you're
biggest
sorry.
critic. I'm always his biggest critic, but I think again, last year was a huge learning year, and that's the only thing I that always frustrated me was the lack of timeouts, and I feel like he's done a much better job of managing those. Maybe getting a whole coaching staff that actually believes in calling timeouts. I don't know if that was part of it, but
I think I
uh,
think as well as he knew what this team was capable in the regular season, he wanted them to just battle it out sometimes, just to figure it out. Right? We can't bail you all the time out with a timeout, waste timeouts. I agree with it. Now in the postseason, yeah, it's different, and he's using them in the right spots.
yeah,
But also,
100%.
like we heard, on top of that, just the adjustments that he's made has been huge, right? We heard all year that he was going to get outcoached by Spoelstra again in the playoffs. He outcoached Spoelstra in games 4 and 5.
Yeah.
This series, putting a Tatum on Mobley, just different things he's done, has been absolutely huge.
Yeah, I think the biggest, doesn't really no one's talk about through Tatum somewhat of a scoring drought that he's had is his defense. His defense has
Oh yeah,
been first team like defense. Like it's just he sticks with players and like you don't see people don't target Tatum at all. Like the way he gets in front of people is I think it's the most underrated part of his game is his defense right now.
And he ends
yeah,
possessions. He rebounds like a big, and you're playing him at the 3 or the 4.
11
So
rebounds tonight.
yeah, he's been over 10 rebounds. I think eight. What? How many games into the playoffs are we? 8 games, right? 9 games.
Yeah.
I think 7 of the 8 games, or I don't know, I forget. Going into tonight, it was 7 of
Yeah.
8 games. He was over 10 rebounds. So That's
Oh yeah,
huge.
all over the
Yeah.
boards. Leads the team. I think he averages like 10.6 right now, rebounds a game. Yeah, it's huge. I love I love what we've gotten this year. I obviously think health you need health and you need a good road to get to the finals. And I love the Celtics have both. Obviously, yes, KP's out right now, but it looks way better than what we expected. But a lot of people are downplaying this road to the Celtics. But man, if we had our gauntlet of trips to the finals to try to get there, when you're talking Embiid and the Sixers, Giannis and the Bucks, even the Heat with Butler in years prior. But when you're the number one team, you should have the easiest path. And obviously, yeah, sure, Mitchell out tonight, but we take care of the Cavs. There's no doubt about it. We took care of the Heat besides one fluke game. And now you're talking Knicks, who are just absolutely banged up, and a Pacers team who's extremely young and immature. The best team who stayed healthy, played it smart all year, rested guys when we needed to, uh, are taking care of business and are getting the path that we finally needed to get to the finals. Obviously the job's not done. We're not there yet. You got 5 more wins to even get there, but things are looking great with the way we're going, staying healthy, things like that. But just a massive win for the Celtics tonight, man. We haven't had a close one like that in quite some time, 38 days. And
Yeah.
got my stomach turned.
Yeah, it's a nail biter. But what are you looking for game five? Would you think they'll make any changes like to the starting lineup? You think they'll push Al to the bench, maybe start Cornette,
No way.
or they'll keep it the same?
Need to keep it the same. You ain't bringing KP back. I think you got to keep it the same. You got to try to get White going again. Maybe
Yeah.
try to get him going early. I like when White drives early, kind of with that pull up and kind of get like Garland and things like that, and get him going early at the free throw line. But adding White back into the scoring column is huge for this team. I mean, most of our blowout wins is when we got him cooking. So I really want to see him with that, but we got to come out like knowing we got to close this out on Friday.
I think part
Or
of
on
the
sorry, on
thing that
Wednesday.
yeah, part of the thing that White is missing, like from White's game. I know he had a couple big games with KP out of the lineup, but that pick and roll with him and
Oh yeah.
KP when he's going to his right hand, just is like he is unstoppable for him. It's like one of those things that's an easy get him going type play. But
Yeah,
when
I think just now though he's missing shots that it's those are White shots.
yeah, wide open corner threes, yeah. How many of those did we miss tonight? I'd like to see the numbers on that.
I think one huge part we talked a little bit about earlier is just adding Drew finally into the offense. The first couple of games, even in the Miami series, you didn't really need him as much. Obviously, this Caps seems way better than the Heat team that we just played, but like he can get away with in most nights not having to contribute on the offensive end with the amount of firepower, especially with KP playing things like that. But when we have Drew being aggressive, what Drew did in that game 3 was huge because he was pounding the ball into the paint into Donovan Mitchell. He was gassed in the second half. In game 2, he was just sitting in the corner. Mitchell had every other play off. Mitchell only had to play offense because he was guarding Drew. And when you have Drew being aggressive, pounding into the paint, obviously we know he's a good 3-point shooter. With us at least, it's a different aspect we can add to the team, which is absolutely huge. So I love him being aggressive. Even sometimes, man, he takes some Marcus Smart like shots. I think it was one tonight where he was just dribbling up on the left side and boom, it's like 3-on-2 fast break and we didn't have the numbers, and he just pops a three.
That was tough. Yeah, he does a couple of those a game you're good for, but overall, I mean, finishing above 50% from the field and 50% from three, like you'll take those nights from
Yeah,
him. He's allowed
you
to take
need
a
those
couple of
from
those
him.
shots.
Yeah, I think my favorite stat of the last two games is not really stat, but the two best performances I like is the combined effort of Brown and Tatum. I think
Yeah,
they've
you're the
had
two
both had
stars.
60-point games combined the last two games, and I think that Tatum and Brown have to be our two best players
Yeah,
pretty much night in night out for us to win a championship. So I love
when you
that they're
pay him
starting to
half a
get that
billion
rhythm.
dollars, you need him.
Yeah, it's crazy. So I think that's probably one thing I was really excited about the last couple of games is seeing both of them play up to their potential of the best duo in the NBA.
Did you guys see when Jaylen Brown hit that game sealing three? Tatum was pumped, and he
Yeah,
smacked Brown right off the chest, and Brown was like Seriously, like how hard he hit him in the chest. I was, I'm still trying to figure out who Brown was chirping at because he was not happy.
Yeah,
But
he was.
man, that was crazy. But yeah, Tatum pops him right in the chest. But yeah, I love. It's just like we're past the whole like dude Brown and Tatum like playing with each other. Man, they love each other. Man, after the game, first people they're talking to each other like doing their handshake, and it's like you need them to win. You're not. Yeah, Derek White's awesome. Peyton Pritchard's great. Al Horford's great. KP's gonna be great.
Mhm.
But at the end of the day, to win the entire thing, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown need to be at their best, 100%.
Yep.
And we're seeing that right now. Last couple games, man. I think Tatum heard the noise and he's responding, and Brown stayed
Mhm.
well. Early turnovers from Brown that we got to keep down. But other than that, I mean, just how efficient he has been on the floor. Some of those jumpers, man, that he takes, those middies are just crazy. Just over guys. It's crazy. Oh. Celtics back at it Wednesday in the Garden. Gotta close it down Wednesday on in the Eastern Conference Finals. Who you got, Pacers or Knicks?
Pacers. Knicks are pretty beat up right now.
Who do you
Knicks,
want?
Knicks
Who
are,
do you want, Pacers or
I
Knicks?
want the Pacers because they're an hour and a half from me, so I want them.
Sure.
I think the Pacers win. I mean, the
But who do you
the
want?
the Knicks are down to five. I'll take the Knicks with four healthy guys. They're
Dude, before this series, I was saying, come on, give me Pacers, easier ride, easier ride. But dude, I don't know. The firepower of the Pacers, they've got the offense. And now with the Knicks, with so many guys down, New York,
and
Boston,
and you
maybe
know
that's
that
so.
regardless of how banged up they are, Tibbs is going to play them all 48 minutes a
Yeah, I
game in
mean,
the
they were
Eastern
down
Conference.
50 and he's playing them the other night. Ain't no rest in Brunson.
They were down 50. Jalen
Hard,
or
yeah.
Brunson's first rest was at the beginning of the
In the
fourth quarter.
like, dude, that team right now is Jalen Brunson, and that's it. Like, in the words of Jimmy Butler, Josh Hart. Like, I'm not worried about Josh Hart. Everyone's like, oh man, he's so good. He has 10, 10, and 10. Dude, if I played 48 minutes for the Knicks under Tibbs, I believe I could do 10, 10, and 10.
I doubt it.
48 minutes.
You'd be
Dude,
dead.
Tatum grabs 11 boards in like 32 minutes. I mean, come on. Like, they're like 10, 10, and 10. Dude, 48 minutes from the guy.
The Pacers' best player is T.J. McConnell.
Oh, by far, man. What a
He
spark
plays
plug. He's
such good
unbelievable.
ball, man.
I
How he
hate
can
He
run
is
the
that.
so
offense.
good.
That one game
So
they
He's so
blew to the
efficient.
the one game that they blew, they put Hallie in, and I thought they should have just left McConnell, and he was
oh
cooking in
yeah,
the
I know.
fourth, and then they took him out.
That's him and Neesmith are the reason I don't want to play them. Like you never know
Yeah, you never know
what
what
they're
Neesmith will
about to
do.
do.
It'd be a different team right now if they had Matherin, that's for sure. Because man,
Yeah,
they're
absolutely.
they're rolling
He's a
right now.
shooter.
Miles Turner can stretch. Obviously, him and KP would be interesting. We'll see. I still think the Knicks have a little bit of advantage being at Madison Square Garden next game. I think winner of tomorrow night for the
And they
Knicks is
get
going to
every
be.
call in the Garden too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they get a lot better whistle. They're getting back and forth on one cries about the ref, and the ref helps them out the next game. It goes back and forth with them right now. So I think winner of next game plays the Celtics in the Eastern Conference Finals. Let's go. One to go.
Let's go.